just want to start off by saying thank you to all the Patreons out there that help us do what we do and everything and have fun on the channel and everything else. And just like the last two, we're going into I think it's the third one right now, a show called The Trailer Seekers, where me and Mr. Eric over here that started his brand new thing that he's out there where he's interviewing a lot of guys. You should go see it. And we'll actually go ahead and push that here at the very beginning. But yeah, man, we're going to be doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We got the new movie about to come out. And so we're going to do the old school trailers for the old school 90s movies. And then we're going to jump into the brand new movies trailer that we got. So we got 4 trailers going to be kind of breaking down and looking at right here tonight. And Eric, man, like you have started something new where you're actually interviewing people from like the reactor space. And like we were talking about before the show, you're going to like enhance that to possibly even go further into all that stuff. So if you would like to go ahead and kind of tell people what you got going on with the new project.
Yeah. Like you said, I've started a new series called the Reactorverse Podcast over on the Passion Fruit YouTube channel. It is being hosted and produced by the website Passion Fruit, where I work now, and I work with my lovely partner Drew Grant as well. She's the managing editor there. And yeah, it's a series that I've wanted to do for a long time, where I sit down with reactors of all kinds, for trailers, movies, TV shows. And just kind of go over their experience in the YouTube space as content creators and reactors. And it's been something I've been really working on for a while now, and we are luckily up and running. We have 3 episodes so far. Episode 4 coming out this week as we're recording this. And yeah, I really appreciate you, Justin, for your patience letting me get that started as we started this as well, because I really, really do love doing this, and especially for something like this, TMNT tonight. I know I'm going to get a message as soon as this comes up from our good friend Andres Gallegos about this.
The ghost.
He's going to be very envious that he wasn't involved in this one, but we can't have him on all the time.
That is right, man. But yeah, man, this is a fun thing to me, like going back, because like we've done Guardians of the Galaxy so far is one of them, and then the other one was Spider-Man, and we got to go back and look at all these movies. Like we didn't, obviously Spider-Man was too big, so we did the same thing we're kind of doing now, where we kind of pick some of the stuff that we're doing for like Across the Spider-Verse and stuff like that before it came out. But like, nah, man, it's super cool. Like today I'm kind of excited because I haven't watched these trailers. Like I haven't went back and rewatched them or anything for this show because we're actually going to talk about them here tonight as we go around with them. But like, yeah, man, like going back to the early 90s, like I'm talking about early 90s. This is 91, 92, and 93. These first three Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies were released, and it was just a good time, man. Good fun. During the movies were just movies, and we got to watch them and enjoy them and stuff like that. So I'm actually pretty excited about doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, especially doing the old school movies. We're not going to do any of the newer animated movies. Hey, let's be honest, they wasn't as popular as the old school stuff anyway. The Michael Bay films as well, I think.
I think we might have to skip those for the sake of time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe if like there's something new that comes out, maybe we'll go back and revisit them because we've done these already, that kind of thing. Leaving room to grow further on and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they apparently they have already greenlit a sequel and a TV series based off this new film that's coming out.
Oh, cool.
So once that's coming out, maybe we'll go back and do the other ones. Yeah,
maybe that's some good news. Maybe that means that this movie is going to be good. I will say this as well. I am kind of getting more and more excited as time goes on, because we had talked about this when we first did the show or started the show, is when we get to closer to October, especially the month of October, going back and watching some of the old school trailers for like some of the old school like horror films and stuff like that. Maybe adding like a new one. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some new horror movie that comes out, during October and stuff like that. It's going to be super fun to do that kind of stuff. One of the cool things, I guess, about this show is like we're going to keep being able to go on because we're going to be talking about older stuff because of like you saw the banner that I had at the very beginning of here that mentioned the strikes and everything else. Like there's not going to be a lot of new stuff coming out here super recent after we get past the stuff that's already done. So hopefully everybody comes to an agreement there and we can start getting back to work. Especially y'all, man. Y'all live close to LA, so I know this has probably affected your whole community over there. It's kind of sad because a lot of get hurt and stuff.
I
like
mean, totally, yeah. I mean, we any day of the week we can go drive down to or the Warner Brothers lot or the Disney lot and go see the protesters outside in the heat trying to fight for their rights.
Is that a thing that y'all just go out there and go give them like moral support, drive by and wave at them, maybe throw some waters?
Yeah, go out there, get a little honk or two when you're out there. I do want, I haven't had the chance to like organize this, but I do kind of want to go out there and with like a case of water, just like start handing people some nice cold water out there because it's been hot, at least out here. I don't have to tell you,
dude. I'm from South Alabama. Let me tell you something now.
Yeah.
This has been one of the worst times we've had in a couple of years. We've gotten lucky that like it didn't get super hot the last couple of years leading into this one, but we're paying for it now. Yeah. Every day, except for the day that we get rain. We are like, there are people in this area that are literally praying for like not a big hurricane or anything, but we want a tropical depression, the lowest ranking kind of like tropical storm that you could have to form right above us and just stall out, just so that we don't even care if it rains all the time, because it is ridiculous. It is instant swamp ass when you walk outside. And you don't know what that is. Like where you live at, it gets hot, but we have the humidity. So when you walk outside, it's like even when it's not raining, you feel like you walked through a rainstorm.
Yeah. I think that's the thing though. Is like the downside about LA is that there is no rain. Like we get rain, we have like a big month of rain in like December and January, but since then like nothing, and we're probably not gonna get any rain again until December or January again coming up. So it's
not that we love rain here, Eric. It's the fact that we need rain. To like just cool things off for a minute, because like I said, that humidity, people don't realize this, it makes us feel way hotter than what it is. Like I would rather be in 100 and something degree temperature than be in 90 here, for instance. Like I'd rather be in LA when it's 100 than being here when it's 85 and 90 sometimes. And on top of that, like when it's cold, humidity also makes it feel colder. So when it gets 20 degrees here, golly, it's cold as hell. So we get kind of the worst of both ends. But man, let's start this out. I'm excited. Like I said, we're going the first original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. Like, here we go. And as we do this, we're telling Erica before we started this, we're going to kind of like, instead of watching the thing completely all the way through, if we have something we notice, we're going to like pause it and talk about it as we go. Because that kind of thing. And for you guys, if you want to go back and enjoy the trailer without pauses or whatever, you can do that on your own time. They're all on YouTube and everything else. But let's get this started. The original. First thing I noticed here is the time. It's a trailer and it's 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So here we go. Like that don't happen anymore. So a real trailer these days are like two and a half minutes long.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Bro, I gotta stop it already. I'm not, listen, man, I'm not lying to you. This right here is, oh my God, this is one of my favorite things. I always, for whatever reason, like the bad guys in my old school cartoons. Decepticons were the greatest. I liked Cobra and G.I. Joe. I liked all these things. So for whatever reason, the bad guys were cool as hell, Eric. And this guy Shredder was like cool as hell, cool looking as a toy in the animated cartoon that you got. But man, I just remember seeing him for the first time in the movie and was like, oh my God, they did it.
Yeah.
It's Shredder. It's the real Shredder. The concept, his costume was amazing.
Yeah, the helmet holds up. Like, the funny thing is the like the trash bag cape that they gave him for this, but like other than that, like it's a great design for a live action adaptation.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. But I had to pause her off to stop.
No problem.
He just looks amazing.
The city itself will be our playground to use as we please.
There's the trash bag.
Yeah. Okay, so that is pause.
Yep.
That I'll say right now that is not Shredder's voice from the movie. That is someone else's voice that they're using for this to dub for the trailer. That is not the voice that we get in the final cut.
Okay, this is the thing, right? This is the thing that was great with CGI. That I actually think the perfect style movies, and I think this is one of the reasons why the last Indiana Jones, or maybe even the one before that, didn't really hit it too big at the box office. And this is one of my drawbacks, and I'm going to bring it up here, is that when you come down to these movies, it's really, you love the old school movies because it felt real. You knew, even though it wasn't Harrison Ford, that there was somebody getting dragged under a truck, that there was all these stunts that were being done by these real people. The problem, I think, with like the last couple of Indiana Jones movies is when I see them at the very beginning of the movie on a train. I don't feel the stakes like I did back in the day because I know it's fake. I know everything around it's fake. Now, what I think is there's a beautiful mixture that can happen to where you have the practical stuff mixed with some CGI, not almost all CGI. And I think that's where some of the problems with some of these movies are happening now is it's too much CGI. It's like people just standing in a square room surrounded by green screens. And I think that's happening way too much. So the reason why I did that is because I got it paused on this foot soldier here. If we had CGI back in this day, like, and it was capable of doing things like it is today, like they could make this costume look way better, right? Like with just little touch-ups with some CGI, with some computer stuff or whatever. But this right here is just old school, practical man with basically a pantyhose over his head with like these bug eye things cut out, because how realistic it is, you can see the fuzz off the material.
You're right.
Like and everything. So it's it's not clean or anything else. Now that also makes it kind of nostalgic and cool, but at the same time, I think the perfect mix is where you mix these two things, practical, and you mix like CGI together in this perfect balance. And there's the thing, it's like Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. You know, Tom Cruise jumped off a cliff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that kind of thing makes it great.
Absolutely.
So let's start it back. We 18 seconds in, man. We already probably talked 10 minutes. I love it.
Oh, Neo.
There is a new enemy. Freaks of nature.
Freaks of nature. Look.
Creatures.
What the heck was that?
What is that?
Like sort of a big turtle in a trench coat.
I love how in New York they didn't even care. Bro, this music. Look at that, bro. The nunchucks. That was actually a really badass scene right there because of like all the action that was going on in that apartment building. I love how there's almost no explanation. It's just showing them like fighting everywhere.
Yeah, it's just like just clips of things happening.
Look, I do want to go back 1 second here. Like, let me see. It was. Let me see. I may not have went back far enough. Anyway, the thing I was trying to stop it on was like when the pizza thing happened, you can tell it was just somebody holding the pizza. Above the plate and like just dropped it at the instant so they could cut to it like it just happened and happened to fall on the plate. Yeah. But man, I ain't gonna lie to you. Right now, what did you think about that right there? Like for real, like just straight up. I loved it because it was so different from what we get today.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right. Like, there's no real like narrative being explained. It's just like a bunch of clips of like fun stuff, fun Ninja Turtle stuff, right? Like pizza, skateboards, like fighting, like everything you'd expect. Yeah, as opposed to like a trailer that would be made today. Like, there's no build up to like the reveal of them. Like, right? Like they just show up and he's like spinning nunchucks and like they're like shouting and cheering. Like there's no like grand reveal of their design and like their sort of presentation. And that's just, I guess that's like a product of the era. Like back then trailers really didn't have to do as much heavy lifting to like get people excited about like what the movie is going to be. Like the concept of what it is, I think carried it a lot, especially for that time. Being the first live action Ninja Turtles movie, coming off of like how hot the cartoon was at that time. Like they're playing with house money, so to speak.
Yeah, I think one of the problems that we have with some trailers, not all these days, are they give out too much. There's too much story. There's too much plot given out inside the movie. And I don't think that's good when you already kind of have everything set up. We got to remember this movie, there was a 1980s cartoon that people watched, that kids watched. They wanted to make live action movies through them, and they did it. So I just think they relied on the property and popularity of their cartoon. They already told the story in the cartoon. You're just going to see it in a different way, in a little bit of a different storytelling format in live action. So they don't feel the need to like actually showcase every little thing. Like they didn't even like showcase Splinter, for instance, on this first trailer or anything like that. Yeah. So that's just one of those things. Like it still had mystery involved. You still needed to go see the movie if you wanted to see that part, that kind of thing. And it was just showing the fun. Hey, this is a movie that you can go have fun with. If you like the cartoon, you definitely can like this.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, for the Shredder thing, even at the end, Mikey's voice when he says "I love being a turtle," that's not the same voice from the film. So it's clearly they were probably still like dubbing it or something, at the time, probably like refining the voice acting. So yeah, like those small little snippets of things are really interesting to me.
And I'm going to be honest with you, it didn't get super showcased in that. It got showcased a little bit, but I actually loved the practical suits.
Oh yeah,
oh my god, they were super good for their time.
Those suits are remarkably good. Like even like they really hold up. Like even today, there's like the jokes that you can sometimes like in the old prints of them, you can see like the actors like eyes through the mouth when they open too wide. But they fixed that, like you said, with CGI now. Like they can like go back and touch it up a little bit to darken those areas.
Yep, not super cool. But let's go on to the next one. The Secret of the Ooze. Still old school New Line cinema, baby. I just keep thinking about Wes Craven, man, and
a city where
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Can scarf down their slices in safety.
Scarf down their slices.
When pizza is close by,
talking about pantyhose.
Is never far away.
Look how good they look, dude! Like it's so amazing. Bro, they're getting super goofy with this one.
New place to live yet?
Well, in this market, it's actually very difficult to find.
Like, look, just in this scene alone, like I paused it because of the fact that, like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, even their mouth movements, although if you were to like slow it down and be very particular about it or whatever, right? Like, their mouth movements are really close to what they're doing, or at least what they're saying.
Yeah.
So as long as you're not looking straight at their mouth and listening at the same time, trying to pick it apart, like it's truly like believable. Like it's truly like really cool that they were able to do that kind of stuff, man. With their costume, for real, like straight up.
On good subterranean housing.
You'd think even an idiot could find a place down here. But no.
Yeah.
Wow. And I thought all the really good dungeons were in Europe.
That was actually a pretty cool set piece right there. I like
it. Was,
Hey, so talking about Splinter, man, there's Splinter right there.
Yeah.
And that's a very difficult, like the turtle one, because there's like, truthfully, there's some detail, but there's not this like huge deal. It's a lot of smooth surfaces and muscles and stuff like that you can do with. But his, man, for that time period, looking at Splinter right now is just pretty amazing and awesome. Man.
With everything. Yeah, there's a lot of detail put into it. Like, again, like you said, it makes it very believable. Like when just thinking about it, like, like it's almost like unthinkable to think that today that we would have actors in like a suit like that, for a live action film. Like the obvious answer is always like seems to be it's just going to be CGI,
Yeah, man. I wish they would like I said, I think there's this perfect balance that I wish that Hollywood would understand. Like you take this costume that's already super good and maybe you animate it a little more with some CGI, maybe make the mouth movements a little more realistic and stuff like that, and clean maybe a couple of things up with the CGI. So basically you take the best parts of practical and then you take the best parts of CGI and kind of intertwine them, because there are moments when you're looking at Splinter and he has times like if he's having to move around and walk and everything else, like it does look a little awkward for back in those days, but I still liked it better. I still liked it better than knowing it's just like, oh, a computer made this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh,
hey guys,
Super
look,
Shredder.
That's the canister that had the ooze.
That
transformed us all.
Yeah.
Well, you're the last one, aren't you?
That's old Baxter right there.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, some animals are knocking down the telephone pole.
Hell no! Like this is super obvious.
The next fight will be freak.
Oh wait, what's that? I got a joke.
Get the wrong cab.
Look, I'm just gonna tell you everywhere else, like the first Karen ever. Right there. right there.
The next fight will be freak
The one thing critique I have with this movie is the fact they just didn't do Bebop
yeah.
and Rocksteady. Why did you not do two of the coolest characters ever and put them in the movie? Why did you have to pick two different animals? But here we go, Vanilla Ice Ice Baby back when he was big still. You know what? I've got to, Eric. I can't do it. I can't keep going forward without doing this, baby. I'm about to shock the world. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new intention. Rolling. Like I just messed it up already, man. The pressure, guys. I screwed it up. I can sing that whole song from like verse to verse. The pressure of being live on YouTube. Well, actually, technically not live, but recorded on YouTube got me all screwed up.
The secret of the ooze.
Don't forget, we're turtles.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like looking at that because, like you said, like the first film is like really fun. Obviously, they get a lot of like the turtle, beats in it with like the pizza, skateboard, all that stuff. But like it is also like really, really dark and like serious at times. And for this film, like it's clearly from the trailer that they wanted to go for like a more lighthearted approach to them. Like, and I love both films, but like, yeah, the second one definitely is like I think a little more kid friendly in a lot of ways. And that trailer really exemplifies that. Even like getting like the Vanilla Ice song in there as like a custom made Ninja Turtles rap song, I think is very indicative of like what they were trying to accomplish with that second film.
Yes, I remember being at school. I was in 6th grade, and the teacher wanted to do something cool. It was one of the last days of school, and everything else. So she brought, because we had to sit in this one thing. We were going to do this thing in front of our parents and stuff, and we were the 6th graders. So we went on last at the end of the night. So there was a long time that we had to sit and wait around, like enough time to watch a movie before we had to go up on stage and do our performance in front of the parents and stuff like that. I don't know if you remember having to do anything like that back in the day, but yeah, that's what they made you do in elementary school here and there. So like, it was actually, I think, Christmas. It was for Christmas. It wasn't like the very end of the school. It was like a Christmas kind of thing that we did for the parents. But anyway, the teacher brought the very first Ninja Turtles in, the one we watched the trailer first. And I remember the teacher going almost crazy, like, and felt really bad because Raphael in that movie says like "damn" like 3 times.
Right.
And the teacher was like, "Oh my God, don't tell nobody that I showed this movie." But it's like she was literally afraid, and that's like crazy that that was a 6th grade class, and she was worried about the word "damn." I don't even think they would blink an eye today, which is to me like super crazy. Like they show all kinds of crazy stuff now in schools, but nah, man, just a great memory of that happening. And I thought it was really cool, right? Like that Raphael, the badass one with the size. And he's very emotional, was actually allowed to say the word "damn." I thought, oh man, that's cool as hell. But like, you're right, there were some dark themes in the first one, man. You remember they, when they got with Casey Jones and they ended up having to leave the city and stuff because Splinter was taken and they were kind of overrun and they knew where their hideout was. They had to go to that farmhouse and stuff. And Leonardo's having to try to like use his ability to like what do you want to call it? Meditate. And he finally gets up with Splinter and everything else. And like it was like super dark and kind of heavy in moments in that film.
Yeah. Then especially going into like the third act where Raph gets like beaten almost to death.
Oh yeah,
plan and
almost
like
dies.
He's like in a coma for like a few days. Like healing up and like like that whole section is like so dour for a Ninja Turtles movie.
But you know what, though? It still taught some really cool stuff. It was like, you got your boys, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to leave one stranded. You're not going to try to take on the world without your other guy. You're going to wait. You're going to let him be there with you because you need him. You need to be together as a team. Yeah. Like as a kid, like it still was like a very motivational type of thing. And it's weird to say that for a movie. That's why I love that first one so much. Like I do think they got a little too goofy with the second one. And I got upset because even as a kid, I wanted Bebop and Rocksteady. Like, bro, how are you going to mess that up? You know what I'm saying? So, and they did. But in that first one, man, dude, like the stories, like I said, like them taking care of Raphael and they're not trying to do anything. Then Raphael comes out of his coma and they're a team again and they're full strength, and they got to go save their master. And it was like, boom, but we're not going to leave nobody behind. We're going to go in there together and we're going to get this job done, no matter how like insurmountable the odds were. was just very like inspirational. Even as a kid, like I could feel that message.
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure Andres can tell us in the comments why it wasn't Bebop and Rocksteady. Instead, it was Toko and Razor as their nemesis in this.
Well, he ain't gonna be able to tell me like rationally why they made that decision. Now he can tell me why they made the dumbest decision in movie cinema history.
Yeah, he can give their excuse.
Because if you have Bebop and Rocksteady, I think in that second movie, like, and make it almost as serious. Maybe you still have a little more fun with some more jokes and stuff like that. I think this could be one of the greatest trilogies of all time, because I actually think like in the third one, you could have even went to Baxter. You already had, like in this movie, you set up Baxter as like the doctor or whatever, but he becomes like a actual villain towards the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. And you could have did some stuff with him maybe in the third one, or picked one of the other evil villains or something like that, like to have in the third movie. And I thought it could have been cool, but
yeah. Telling more into that. But yeah, you know, that first one, I really love that first one. And like you said, the part with Raph where he's unconscious for a few days. I think that section actually is maybe like a big part of why like Leonardo is my favorite Ninja Turtle among the group, is because I always liked that Leonardo is like, even though people say he's like the boring one, like the stick in the mud, I think that's because he feels like a lot of like pressure and like responsibility for the rest of them. And like that scene where he's waiting by Raph every day for him to wake up, I think like exemplifies that really well, and I always found that really touching.
Oh yeah, man. Now I like Donatello because he was smart and he had the bow staff, and that's why, man, I'll never forget 1999 seeing the Phantom Menace trailer, and my man Darth Maul shows up and has the double-bladed lightsaber.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. I got overly excited. I'm not going to expound upon that anymore, because if we could get a strike on YouTube possibly for what I was about to say about how excited I got. But let's get excited about the craziness that's about to go down, because listen, you had the first one of my favorite movies of all time, like legitimately, like literally the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie might even be, if I were to sit down and really think about it, might be in my top 10, the top 20 movies of all time. I love that first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. I think it's one of the greatest adaptations of a cartoon to a film ever done. The second one gets a little silly, all right, but it's like not super bad. You can still have fun with some of the cheesy moments and stuff like that. But then they decided to jump the shark. All right. They decided, listen, baby, we going all out. I can't even remember if this one right here particularly even went to the movies, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure if it did. I think it might have had a small theatrical run, but I think it was mainly, went straight to like the home video.
Like home video, well, I almost said DVD. Nah, bro, this thing came out VHS, baby.
Yeah.
This might have even came out on the Betamax, man. It was so old. Let's get right into it. Look at that sweet green screen. PG, parental guidance suggested.
16th century Japan.
Here we go, baby. The old school voice.
Battle. Fighting an evil emperor. With their only.
Look, you can tell. Look, all right. So I'm pausing it now because I got to talk about a couple things. For one, Eric, tell me how refreshing, how awesome it is to hear the deep voice guy and the movie trailer guy in the background. Like, just Do you wish that this still happens sometimes with some of the new trailers?
I feel like it's coming back. I've seen a couple recently that use the old school trailer voice like sincerely, not as like a ironic thing, but as a sincere narrative tool. Like I think the Dungeons and Dragons trailer, one of them used it like really like just straightforward, like not even like to do a joke or whatever about it. Like it was just like a straightforward narration.
By the way, my favorite movie of the year so far, so underrated, should have been watched by it should have made way more money than it did. That actual movie to me is like the Guardians of the Galaxy, but for Dungeons and Dragons. Like, man, I actually thought that movie was like really super fun and had a lot of heart to it. MCU sometimes I think try to make too many jokes at bad times and everything. That movie didn't do that. When it needed to be serious, it was, and when it was funny, it was funny. Right. I enjoyed that movie, but sorry, I had to say that because I thought that movie was so underrated this year.
Yeah.
Right, let's go. Oh, the other thing I was going to talk about is like, this is seriously grainy. Like, obviously, this one did not have the production value of the first two.
Yeah.
A golden scepter that can open the gates of time itself.
Uh-oh.
Now, in their darkest hour, come 4 brave fighters from another time, another place.
I wonder who they are.
Another species?
Wow.
You were expecting maybe the
Oh, we even got the 80s hair.
And they're back in time.
Hey, Dad, check it out! We're in Schmoedown!
This before demons defeated.
I love that actor, by the way. That guy, I don't know, like the Asian guy right there. He's played a lot of like great characters
Destroy these monsters, my lord.
back in the day, like playing like these evil, evil Asian actors.
I love this stuff!
How are we gonna get home?
Oh god, yeah, you can just tell. Look at this.
I have a feeling we're gonna be here for a very long time.
Oh god. Oh, the falling in the mud jokes.
I think I swallowed a frog. I hope it wasn't an ancestor.
New Line
Wow.
Cinema presents
A Legorama. Sweet.
the 4
Wow, they're even
greatest
throwing
turtles
swing jokes in here.
All right, that's
Bill and Ted, isn't that like a Bill and Ted thing?
ever to go down in history.
It's just your ordinary time travel equal mass displacement kind of thing. Kids.
Teenage
Oh my God.
Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Help, I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
Oh my god.
There's got one turtle joke in there. Yeah, it's funny. I actually I remember the swing joke now that I see it, but like yeah, definitely as a kid, I don't think I got the reference because I didn't see Wayne's World until like I was like probably significantly older.
No, that was Wayne's World. I said Bill and Ted's, but it's around that same time. So like,
Yeah.
But no, yeah, you're right. Had those kind of references. That was just like super goofy and off the wall. We can all know why it didn't make a lot of money at the box office.
Yeah.
It really just went crazy. Like it was a progression of serious movie. We're trying to win an Oscar in the first one. Like, even though they knew they wasn't going to win, they were like, we're going to show these guys there's going to be real heart and emotion in this movie and stuff like that. And then it's like the second one. Well, we know we're not going to win an Oscar, so we can be a little goofy. Maybe more kids will want to go see it and everything else. And then the third one, it's like, oh man, let's just go straight to videotape, straight to home video. That's basically what it sounded to me, or what it looked like to me. But I do think it got a little bit of a theatrical release, but it obviously didn't do very well.
Yeah. I think the issue is that with the first film, like I said, there's a novelty that you're tapping into, just having like a adaptation of a known, IP of like the Turtles, from the cartoon and like the toy line and everything, that people are going to see it. They're like, oh, like, that's cool. I recognize this. Like they did this well. But when you get to the third film, it's like you're not really kind of like upping that ante of like, identification with like what they know from the stuff that you are familiar with. You lose a lot of that momentum. And like I think the Turtle series has played around with like time travel and interdimensional, plot lines, stuff like that before, but like not like that really. And like it didn't really, I don't think they really achieved the sort of like brand awareness that they were able to use for the first two films at least. And for something like the Turtles, I think really what it is like the Turtles appeal to, I think a younger like male demographic for the most part. Like I think it can appeal to like
older men now though.
Older men now too, yeah. But like as the toys though. But then like now, I think the Turtles as a brand has sustained for so long that they've had different cartoons, every generation or so, every 5-6 years they reboot it, they do another version of it, and like it always seems to find an audience, and it's like one of those things where like it lasts, and like now we're coming up on this like the new precipice of like this new era of like Turtles mixed in with like the I think a younger generation, because like yes, we'll see in the next trailer, I think the younger the Turtle are played by younger actors who like they seem like they're genuinely like teenagers, like
look
13 to 15.
You make a great point, and we're bringing it back to the Turtles here. Think about if they do what they did for Barbie. One of the coolest things I think they did for Barbie, and even though I haven't watched it, I've seen and know this part of it. I've actually paid attention to the news and what people are saying. But the set pieces looks like an actual Barbie world that you would have like played together, like when you played with Barbies. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about if we got a live action Ninja Turtles that actually had the turtle van, right? The toys that and they bring those to life, inside of an actual like cool movie. that like is catered to its audience. Like I just think that would be like super awesome and amazing. And I think that's where the Transformers went wrong. Who cares about making the things look like 2023? We want the robots to look like they did in Generation 1, man. We want Optimus Prime and Megatron to look like their stuff. We want Megatron to turn into a gosh darn gun. Who cares how cheesy that is? We love the cheesiness. That's part of the reason why we love the cartoon, right? Yeah. Like nobody's going to complain legitly. Oh man, that don't make no sense that Megatron just turns into a big pistol that Starscream carries. Nobody cares. We love the cartoon, for God's sakes. We didn't complain about that at all. And just doing those things and making it look like that's one of the greatest things I think Barbie did was the set stuff, the set design, making it look like, oh, it is this world. It's like this, that Barbie would live in kind of thing. I just think, you know, hey man, take the good and the positives from this movie and kind of put it into these other 80s. Because I do think we're going to get this renaissance, I guess you would say, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's the wrong word, of like 1980s cartoons or 1980s toys and everything else. It's going to be try to be made properties. Like we know this about Hollywood. They try to, once one thing makes money, everybody tries to copy it in their own way. If they got any kind, people's going to start trying to buy IPs here and there they didn't even think about. It's like, bro, we're going to make a movie. Yeah, make millions of dollars like Barbie. That's what's going to happen. But a lot of them's going to fail, is the truth.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Yeah. But we're, like you said, we're potentially in a renaissance era of like studios trying to like tap into that. For the Turtle stuff specifically, like, you know, this new one is like, again, it's the first attempt at a an animated feature-length film for the Turtles since the, I forgot what year it was, 2011-ish, like the one, that came out before the Michael Bay ones, that tries to tell like a animated story of the Turtles in the feature-length narrative. Before that, otherwise, we just had the 3 live action ones from the 90s, and then the Michael Bay ones, which are also somewhat live action with like CGI turtles. But this, to your point, they have an opportunity to tap into like all the notable visible imagery that we are familiar with from the toys, like, you know, like Superfly, you know, Ray Fillet, all those characters like we otherwise would be kind of like goofy to try and achieve in a live action setting. To set that in an animated world, like, you just have so much more room to play with. I think so much more you can achieve with that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say we're because I've already seen these trailers. So I went and seen movies, and they've been playing this trailer at the movie theaters and stuff. When you go watch almost any movie, Seth Rogen out there pushing this movie hard, and I hope it does. I hope it does well, and I hope it's a great movie and everything else. But we're about to watch the trailer for the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem that's about to come out in theaters. And one of the things that caught my eye, and maybe after you watch this trailer, maybe it catches your eye, is I think it's not a blatant copy or anything like that, but to me, it's more of like a Spider-Man across the universe kind of like artistic style that they're kind of going for a little bit here.
Totally.
Like, I obviously it's not going to be as bright colored and everything else, but I'm just saying as far as like the motion and everything else. So tell me if I'm right about that. Maybe I'm wrong, because hey, you're the professional, Eric.
Yeah,
I'm just a small peon here. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to watch stuff and have fun watching it. Which, by the way, is I think is the most important thing. But as you can see right here, before I even push play, like just the art style to me looks like the Spider-Man kind of artistic vision here.
Yep.
And to be honest with you, it looks exactly like the toys.
Yeah,
almost.
No, totally. Yeah, I mean, even just the design of each individual turtle, like they're not uniformly, you know, designed in their body types. Like Michelangelo's a little more stout, you know, so is Raphael. Leonardo's a little more thin and lanky. You know, like their colors are different tones.
But his swords look plastic. Like if you see that, they look literally plastic. But like that's cool, right? Because that's what we played with. We played with the plastic toys.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, baby.
Can I take it? I'm awesome.
Boys, where have
Our
you
favorites.
been? We're just running errands.
That's it?
Look, we're really sorry, Splinter. Some of the guys wanted to get pizza, and I tried to talk them out of it. You ratted us out. Hey.
Yeah, bro.
Don't use that word that way.
I mean, it's 2023.
Sorry, Dad.
I gotta say though, I don't love the Splinter design in this.
Hey, guys.
To me, he just doesn't resemble like exactly what Splinter looks like.
What would you guys do? Go to high school?
I think he's voiced by Jackie Chan, though.
Can you imagine that?
Not likely.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it just reminds me of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with the way they're doing it.
I want to know everything about you.
Our dad is definitely not a giant rat.
That makes me feel like he's a rat.
Police are baffled by the recent crime wave led by a superfly.
Nobody's ever seen his face.
Why?
Because he kills everyone who does.
Whoa. Cool.
No, not cool.
No, that's kind of cool.
Can I kick it?
We
Kinda
become
cool.
Superfly, and then everyone will think we're cool. They'll accept us.
Can I kick it?
He's making a deal tonight under the Brooklyn Bridge.
Can I kick?
Whoa.
Kick.
Bro, look at this dude.
Y'all some little tortoises, huh?
I can't believe there are other mutants.
You want to roll
There we
with
go,
us?
right there.
Humans are never gonna like us. So we gonna let the mutants rule the earth.
Bro, I'm really loving this animation style that
Okay,
they're
sort of a
starting to
twist.
pick up here in America. I always felt like America was always lagging behind the Asian countries when it came to anime and stuff like that and animation, but I think these Spider-Man stuff and this like here looks really super cool.
Yep, yeah, totally.
My son, Michelangelo, you have heart.
He does.
Donatello, you have wisdom. Raphael, you have bravery. And Leonardo, honor.
Enough talk. I dream about fighting every night.
You got a rage problem,
yeah,
man.
bro.
It's not a problem.
That's actually pretty cool. I tell you what, man, like I don't know. I think it's coming out because it's coming out soon. And I think this Barbenheimer thing and like other movies that are out there is going to be taking like money from it that it could have made if it was in a more open spot. But that trailer, man, makes me kind of hyped to go out there and see this movie. Like,
Yeah,
that I
no.
think I could have fun with it and everything else, right? Like,
Totally.
it looks really good, looks fun. I love the animation style. That's one of the big reasons why I want to see it is just from that alone, man, just how cool it looks to me. Like I said, a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and stuff, that one of the things, other shows that we did, like the animation style looks kind of similar. Like it's different colors and stuff, obviously, but the way it's made and the way it's formatted and stuff like that looks really cool. I think this is some of the best animation work from an American studios and stuff like that I've ever seen comparative to like anime that you normally get. It's always been like the Asian culture that's always had like the best animation. If you wanted to see really good animation and you wanted to see the best, you're going to go turn on one of your streaming services, put on a real anime, and you're going to have to read because it's going to be in like Japanese or Chinese, whatever, like voice is like that's going to be the language that you're going to hear. You're going to have to read it with subtitles or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool. You watch it because it's so cool looking. And a lot of times, sometimes you may not even dig the story as much, but it's so beautiful, so captivating, like how good these things are starting to look. So props on that. Props on that. Like I hope it's good. I hope it's good.
No, you're absolutely right. Because like I mentioned, before, but the previous animated film that they tried to release, just animation. I think I mentioned this in the Spider-Verse review we did too. It had just been so stagnant for like almost like 2 decades worth of like Pixar, paving the way. And that style of 3D animation kind of set the standard of like what we got. Following that, we got Pixar, Illumination, everything, but everything kind of fit the mold of like the similar, just sort of 3D, animated design that we had for like all those films. Spider-Verse is the one that kind of broke the mold a little bit, where like they made a whole new style of animation that we hadn't seen yet, and now we're starting to see the repercussions of that with certain films starting to emulate that same style, because that specific engine that they use for the animation isn't patented. Like they don't, like I think it's other studios can use it, and like so now we're starting to see that. And I think this is like a good example of a film with a really big brand behind it, like using it like the same way Spider-Man did, and it can, like, I think, break new ground in that regard. Like, like you said, even though it's gonna be going up against Barbie and Oppenheimer, there is a good potential for counter programming there with kids who aren't obviously going to go on to see Oppenheimer, like, a 3D biopic,
Right.
and might not want to go see Barbie. They might be the young male kids that want to go see Ninja Turtles or whatever, and like I just think it's the biggest test will be, how strong is the Turtles brand today? I think that's the real key to its success. Like, is it still, popular with kids? Do the kids still buy the toys? So on, so on. Because like this is appealing to like just a really big, demographic of like people who are really familiar with like the scope of the toys and everything, with Superfly, all the deep cut characters. If those things kick off, then like they have the potential to spin this into like another film, where you can do Shredder, you can do the series, everything. It can really like just launch like the Turtle brand into like a whole new stratosphere, along with again how it looks in animation, which can then launch it into like a new era of sort of like just filmmaking in general.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think one of the biggest things that the Turtles have is like it's an interesting portrayal of ninjas. Let's be real here. The appeal is we got some ninjas. Everybody likes to be ninjas. I mean, back in the day, I used to call it ninja toes, man. I'd put on some socks and then go grab my flip flops, and then how the flip flop, the thing in the middle would be in between the toes. It'd make you look like you were wearing like the super cool like ninja feet things, they would wear and doing their thing. So that's what we called it, and we'd laugh and have a good time. But man, it was just about nostalgia, having a great time, remembering the toys. I just hope that some people, like, I know this is sad to say, like, but I think some people, like, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't care. These are like fictional characters. I do care a little more when it's like something that's maybe more substantial, or especially like if it's a realistic character. Like some people just let this stuff like get right up their crawl, and that's like with race swapping. We got the April O'Neil thing here. They changed her around, from what we saw like in the original movies and even in the cartoons and stuff like that, and all that. That doesn't bother me that much. April O'Neil was just a side character that wasn't all that important, so it doesn't even matter to me, period, as all that goes. And as long as it's done cool and like it's a cool character in the movie, I don't care. Like I said, I think people take some of this stuff way too far, so I hope that doesn't hurt it at all, period. Unfortunately, I think people are trying to throw politics into almost everything that's out there, right? Even when it doesn't belong to be in it. It's like, oh, this movie's what? Oh, politics. Bro, I go watch movies to get away from politics. I don't care, man. Like, shut up. Like, let's just go out there and have some fun, watch some damn movies.
Yeah.
Like everything else, right? It's like, and that's what the biggest thing here. And that's why I love doing this show with you. And I could have did it with almost anybody else, but I'm glad it's you because, like, for one, you know how to do things like edit and things. So you have your particular eye for things that I wouldn't have as just like a normal fan that reacts to stuff. So I thank you a whole lot for like doing this with me. But at the same time, you're really cool to like break down movies, and we might see different things and from a different side or a point of view or whatever, right? It doesn't matter, but we can still have fun and discuss these movies and things that we see. And that's just what I wish like the fandom everywhere would just start doing, man, like having fun, actually just watching these things and stop trying to get into your skin and in your head and everything about this stuff. Like, it's movies are made to go and escape and have fun, not the entrenched in the things that you live everyday life in, right? So let's do that, guys, and let's have fun. But yeah, man, like I said, dude, I love just sitting down. I'm one of these people that love like watching things with people that also have the same kind of passion and stuff, and we can like talk about these things and discuss them and break them down. And like, I learn things right from listening to you, and I hope every now and then you learn something from listening to me and like my point of view on these kind of things, man. So like, I'm love doing this, like, and everything else. But yeah, you're right. We had to give you I on purpose didn't get up with you at first because I knew you had this new project that you had going on over there at Passion Fruit, which I think's done really good. I want to reiterate that, guys. Like, if you happen to see this, you made it this far in the video. We talked about at the very beginning. Eric, my man's got a new project going on over at Passion Fruit. If I'm not mistaken, a YouTube channel has been kicked off and everything, so go subscribe to that and go watch. Eric's got 2 interviews out so far.
3 now. Yeah, 3 now.
Is it 3 released? I know 2 have been released.
At this time, I think by the time this episode comes out, if you're watching this later, there'll be 4 released.
Oh, okay, damn. Yeah. So Eric over here interviewing everybody. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about? But like, yeah, dude, that's like super cool. I haven't watched your last one. I watched the first 2, but like I said, it was a great job, great fun, man. It's like cool, like sitting back and talking to listening to these people, tell their stories about like what they do and everything. And as far as like a smaller channel like we got over here, trying to do our things, like, it's super difficult because you know, two of the main people that are a part of this team that do this channel, me and Ferris, for instance, have full-time jobs.
Right.
And like other responsibilities. He has school on top of that. I'm a single dad on top of that. And then like, so we're doing the best we can and doing the most we can whenever we have free time to try to like do things and have fun and talk about this stuff and everything else. And trying to make the channel bigger, because it's kind of exciting. When we first started the channel, we thought, oh man, it'd be cool if 10 people watches, you know, and now we got almost 850 subscribers, moving on to the 1,000 mark. And if we just had the watch time right now, we'd already be able to be monetized, because they changed the way that monetization works. Right. So it actually helps. It can help a smaller channel as long as you get the watch time hours up there. And that's the only thing we're missing. So it's kind of exciting doing our thing over here, but it's just the different perspectives of all these people that do different channels and do different reactions and do all these things. And even though we're a smaller channel, we've had like Ferris go out and actually interview two like pretty decently, like one of them has like 5 or 6, maybe 4 or 5 best-selling author. Like he had wrote like it's on our sports channel. It's an interview that we did with a guy who wrote like a new Bo Jackson like book. He's also interviewed a guy that like works in, say, like kind of like behind the scenes on like movies and stuff like that. And they've both been really good. But yeah, man, even as a smaller channel, we've interviewed a couple of people that's pretty crazy. You wouldn't even think about being able to do and stuff like that. And that's cool, because like, you know, people are cool out there because they're like, man, you know what? You want to talk to me, man? You want to learn some things? Let's do it. But yes. Yeah. Thank you, man. You always were that person that stood out. I mean, you probably, I don't want to embarrass you too much here, because I'm giving you a lot of praise right now, but like, you're that one person though, man, like when we were doing the movie trivia Schmoedown stuff and everything else and all that, like, but even beyond that, you always helped out reactors, but you always like did some cool stuff for them. Like when we were able to go to LA at the last spectacular, you know, inviting us to your house and welcome them, you know, in your home. You know, and I've seen you do things with like the other, you know, bigger reaction channels and stuff like that, where you've helped some of them like behind the scenes, like with editing and everything else. But you'll have get-togethers, even when it was like during COVID and stuff, even if it's like a big Zoom call, like where you just get all these people together and just have some fun. You've always kind of like wanted those people. It never seemed like you did anything for yourself. It was like you were always trying to help and make these other people feel welcome, which is pretty awesome to be a person that can do stuff like that, because most people don't. So I want to give you a big, huge thanks, and I hope your passion fruit project and stuff like that shoots out of the stars, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate all that. Truthfully, yeah, like, I've been really passionate about this space for like a long time. As I think even longer than I was involved with the Schmoedown. So it's something like I'm really dedicated to, and yeah, I'm really thankful that Passion Fruit's given me the opportunity to sit down, and just chat with them, you know, give them a highlight, you know, of like what they've gone through, what they can share with others, you know, to help others along the way. So like, just, you know, in that sense, it's like a nice cyclical thing to be able to push forward.
No, yeah, man, because I used to, I know it sounded funny and stuff, but I used to call you the Magic Man. And it wasn't just because of your super awesome promos that you put together. I just thought you were a magical style person, man, because you're one of the first people that we interviewed on our channel, period. Go back and look at the old things. You're one of the first interviews that we did. We sat down and talked to you, and it's just really cool that now it's been a couple of years. It's kind of crazy to even think about, but it's been a few years, and you're back over here on the channel, like hanging out with me, talking about some trailers.
Yeah, here we are, man.
It came full circle. But thank you guys, thank everybody, thank you to the Patreon members. You can join that. It's probably in the descriptions below. Please like and subscribe to the channel and stuff like that. Help us out, get seen. And I hope you guys had fun going back and reminiscing about the old school Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from back in the 90s, even though it went off the rails at the end. It started out beautiful. Eric. But with that being said, like I always say before we get out of here, there's a lot of people that sexy in the movies, but they're not the only ones. You can be sexy in your own life, so stay sexy. It's a thought. It's not even about the looks, man. It's a mentality. Right. It's a mentality. Be strong out there, guys. Love you. Peace.